The thing that I loved about Tom Brady for so long, while the rest of the world hated him, by the way, anybody outside New England hated Tom Brady. I think we're all at the point now where everybody just respects what they've done. But last night, watching him struggle in primetime, if you followed along that game on the internet at all, the world couldn't be happier to watch somebody who's been at the top of the mountain fall from grace just a little bit, falter just a little bit. Taylor Swift says, people throw rocks at things to shine. Tom Brady's been shining for a long time.
That's right.
People hated the Yankees back in the day when they were winning all the time. People hated the Lakers back in the day when they were winning all the time. People hate the Patriots because they win all the time. In the face of that team is Tom Brady. And now Tom Brady is on record for his worst passer rating in the history of his career. Okay? Even when he was a rookie and they were dependent upon other things, his worst rating of his entire career, he is on the way to accomplishing that this year. And the thing about Tom Brady that I've always respected is even in the face of adversity, in these massive moments, it looked like he didn't have sweat glands. It actually looked like the guy never sweat. His eye black was always perfectly primmed and propped right there on his face. Mm-hmm. He looked like he was out of a movie or a television show every time he stepped on a field. I'd gone on to say that whenever babies pop out, they should show a picture of Tom Brady and say, hey, if you are half as good as this human, not only good looking, but successful, accomplished, and seems to be nice. If you're half as good as this human, you've done good. The last couple weeks, Tom Brady, a man who never sweats, never blinks, seems to know what they have right now. And that's a rattled offense. Dan Orlovsky broke down in beautiful fashion this little situation between him and Philip Dorsett, who has done well for them this year. He gives Philip Dorsett the gun sign, right? Little gun sign. Dorsett's way outside on the left. Apparently, that gun sign meant a double move. Phil Dorsett either didn't get the sign or didn't adhere to it. Tom Brady hucks back, expecting a double move from Phil Dorsett. It lands flat. Boom. No problem. Go to the sidelines. Him and Josh McDaniels are looking at the, what's it called?
The Microsoft Surface.
They paid a lot of money for us to say it.
Yes, they did.
Excuse me. Just burped up an egg sandwich. Was going to start keto today, decided not to. Strictly because I forgot I was starting keto today and I had a bagel as soon as I walked in.
Well, that was all that was available for
What do you want from me?
I mean, what are you going to do?
I mean, I'll eat meat. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People know that I'll eat meat.
Right.
Anyways, goes to the sideline, talks in that Microsoft Surface. Would have been better if they got iPods or iPads. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Apple, you know, a little tight on cash. Microsoft Surface, they look at that. Josh McDaniels explain him like, hey, what happened here? He said, well, I gave him the gun sign. You actually see him say, I gave him the gun sign. He did it. And then he says, I'm done with him. That I'm done with him is not only showing that Tom Brady's rattled, but Tom Brady hates what's going on the offensive side. A guy who's always been calm, cool, and collected seems to no longer be that. And for me, that's the biggest sign that they're struggling. Everybody says their offense hasn't figured it out. They've been saying it for months. Offense isn't that great. The defense, which has been historically good, has been carrying them, and they have. Their special teams has been carrying them, and they have. But I've said, Tom Brady and that offense, Josh McDaniels, they're going to figure it out. After watching last night with how upset he was, how he was imploring his teammates to be faster, quicker, and more explosive. Things that you just can't become. These are things that you either are or you're not. Whenever he was imploring them to do this, that's whenever I was like, oh, maybe this offense isn't going to figure out. Maybe this offense, if they had Josh Gordon, who they just let walk out of the building, maybe if this offense had Demaryius Thomas, who they let walk out of the building twice, and for as much hell as he raised up there, Antonio Brown, now granted, the allegations are terrible if he did anything that they are alleging. I hope he goes to jail forever. But obviously a lot of drama. You have Antonio Brown on that team here in a good spot. And it feels like Tom Brady is losing hope in that offense. And for me, they're still 10-2. They're still going to be in the playoffs. They're probably going to have a home game, which is going to be very difficult to beat them in Foxborough. But that offense is nowhere near what it used to be. And I think it's gotten to the point now where when Belichick made a decision, you would always go, well, makes sense. Well, no other team would ever do that. No other team would ever let that person go. No other team would let that person not be a part of their offense. But it's Belichick. They win, they can do it. They obviously can't buy into the Patriot way. Now, without those pieces that they just let walk out of the building, and with how their offense is struggling, can't help but go, is the dynasty over in New England? No new contracts, a lot of chatter about him leaving. Obviously, Belichick and Tom have had their disagreements, but they've been the most successful pairing in the history of pairings of coaches and quarterbacks. But with how flustered Tom was last night, that really sent a message to me that maybe this Patriots team, even though they're 10-2, I can't stress that enough. They are 10-2 with a bad offense right now that Tom doesn't trust anyone. Even though they're 10-2, I don't know how I feel about them in the playoffs. When normally I would just hammer the Patriots,
Right.
which is what I have done, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I've been very successful with that. Shout out to yesterday, me banking in on FanDuel with a 16 parlay. No big deal. Stayed away from the Patriots because I don't know what they're going to do. Actually took the Texans +3 because half the Patriots had the flu, by the way, so that's a big deal, which should be accounted for. And even with how bad that offense played last night, playing against one of the hottest teams in the AFC, they made it a one-score game at the end, so there is things to be said about all that. But if I'm a Patriots fan, I don't like seeing Tommy Cool lose his mind a little bit a couple different occasions and look like he's sweating. Now, granted, I know he's always been feisty, and I know he gets in people's ass every once in a while, chews them out. But for me, it just looks like Tom Brady's at the point where he's like, I don't know what the hell I can do anymore. He even threw the helmet at one point. That's not a Tom Brady thing. And for me, that's where the red flags start going ding, 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 ding.